Hello, welcome to 10 at 10. My name is Michael Ramage. I'm the director of the Cyber Education Research Center here at Murray State University, and welcome back to 10 at 10. 10 at 10 is brought to you through a partnership between Murray State University, Grow West, the Technology Council of West Kentucky, KY Innovation, and our local partner, Sprocket Innovation in Paducah, and the Kentucky Innovation Station in Madisonville. Welcome back to episode 204. So we are back on the news of the last few weeks. Checking out things that are going on in the world of cybersecurity, specifically because there's so much going on. Specifically, I want to remind, I'm always looking at things that provide little lessons that we can teach you to help you understand the risk and how to stay safe in cyberspace. So let me just dig into it for today. Our first article, this is one that's going to step on a lot of toes. 65% of office workers bypass cybersecurity to boost productivity. If you think about security, security is always about balancing security and usability. The more secure something is, the less usable it typically is. So how do you balance that? 2/3, essentially, of workers are trying to find workaround security to make it easier for them to do their job. And actually, I brought a prop today. So if you look at this, you may not know what this is. Yes, it's a bottle opener. You can open a bottle with it. But more importantly, I bought this purely as a prop to show people. And what it is you stick this in the seat belt holder in your car to get your buzzer to quit buzzing in your car, your light to quit blinking in your car, so that it thinks you have a seatbelt on. The whole point of this, and it's, I don't know what it was, $6, $7, $8, is to help you avoid the security or safety controls that your car has. The seatbelt is in your car for safety, to save your life. Yet there's a product that you can buy to avoid that. Now, I could come up with reasons why that product is helpful. If I have something, if I'm driving in a car and there's a sensor in the passenger seat and I have some books or something in it, then maybe it's going to set it off. So, I can justify it. But what I'm really doing is trying to avoid the safety features, the security features. 65%, 2/3 of employees are doing that same thing. And, it was looking at some applications, and, 32% or 52% of groups use Teams, Slack, Outlook, something like that. IT admin tools, 41%, customer facing apps, 34%. These are all considered, business critical applications. 80% of those surveyed said they do those work applications on personal devices because it's more convenient. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't do that, because that's not true. But what is important is to plan for security accordingly. What can you do to plan the security around that environment? What can we do to impress upon our workers, our employees, that they understand how important the security is and how we go about doing some of these things? There's a lot that goes into that, and I could spend more time, and I've already talked about this article too much, but I just find that number really interesting. Second, 63% of companies plan to pass data breach cost on to customers. The reality is data breaches cost a lot of money. Upwards of $200 per record stolen during a data breach. That's the IBM Podimon Institute does a study every year looking at the cost of a data breach, and it talks about that a little bit in this article. I don't know if we had a data breach and it cost millions of dollars. I don't know how else to do it except to pass that cost on, because the money has to come from somewhere. But it's cheaper for a company to pass on some additional cost to customers to plan for security ahead of the data breach than respond to the data breach. There are governments, there are healthcare organizations, there are private companies, there are public entities all over this country that have been hit with ransomware attacks, hit with data breaches that are requiring them to take severe actions. But if we would take some actions before the boom, before the breach, then it's probably going to be cheaper and we might be better off. So anyway, certainly something to consider. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about Salt Typhoon. I've read dozens of articles over the last little bit on the Salt Typhoon, and essentially there was an APT, advanced persistent threat, APT group, a hacker group out of China that's affiliated with the Chinese government that has been linked with the Chinese government. Let me make sure I use the right term. That has installed malware backdoors on telecom systems across the globe, including America. And they have used that to target both officials from the presidential campaigns, including the phone of now President-elect Donald Trump. So we always talk about the cost benefit of security. And this is a big fish for them to attack. Is it worth $100,000 to hack my bank account? If you've looked at my bank account, the answer is no, it's not. Is it worth $5 million, $10 million, $100 million to attack and compromise the president? From a nation state, maybe there's justification there, but it takes really sophisticated. This has been a process, something that's been in the works for some time, but there's a lot to be worried about here. There's a lot to take into account here. Now, the problem is that, and we can, oh, it didn't pop up. Let me, maybe I can refresh it. But the problem is that, we're impacted by this. We may not be the targets of this. Your organization may not be the target of this attack, but if you are part of one of these telecom networks, which we probably are, then using the same attack, the same compromise that gets to some of these government officials, it could impact us as well. So there were some tips that came out, that things that you can do, and they're highlighted in this article. I'm not going to go through all of them in detail, but patching, disabling unused, unauthenticated protocols, limiting management connections, strong passwords, strong cryptography, being vigilant. I mean, those are the same things that are always true, but this article will be linked in the show notes, so you can take a look at what you can do to help keep your organization and your business a little safer. And then the last one, and I just find it, I'm a soccer guy, so I like soccer analogies, but a football club, a soccer team in Italy has been hit by ransomware hackers. And the title, talk about an own goal. And the reason that it's, everybody gets hit with ransomware attack, but they actually admit, and I have to remember where was hacked due to lack of security on their network. All confidential data has been stolen. Bologna FC does not have any data protection on its network, which is why absolutely all their data was stolen. So essentially what this article is saying is that not only was it stolen, but it was because they're not doing anything and they didn't care about security. That's what happens. And I'll tell you, you're going to be in the same boat. If you're not doing anything about security, then you are going to get hit. And when you get hit, you're going to lose everything. You've got to make sure that something that you're doing a little bit of your due diligence to protect your network. Anyway, there's a lot we could talk about this week. We will get back to topics. Actually, we'll kind of look at what's going to be on the horizon for next year on next week's 10 at 10. Hope you enjoy your day. Stay warm, and I'll talk to you next week back here on 10 at 10. Thank you.